And then you have this guy. And I think this guy is also like, he's like a charlatan, right? This Hawk Newsome guy. Am I crazy? I feel like God, BLM is so, like, BLM as a institution is so fucking, so unimaginably busted. I don't know if it's the same guy, but like, it's just at this point in 2024, whenever I see someone who is like an organizer of Black Lives Matter openly say that they're an organizer of Black Lives Matter, it's almost always some dude who is like going to say some unhinged shit. This does not mean that they're actually a part of the Black Lives Matter movement in general. Oh, it is the guy who protested the restaurant that one time. BLM protest planned at New York restaurant where brawl over vaccination proof occurred. Yeah. BLM Greater New York. Yeah. Hawk Newsome, the co-founder and chairman of BLM Greater New York. Yeah, they're, I think these guys are, I don't think these guys are valid. Okay. Just letting you know before we start this process, before we go down this route and listen to what he has to say.
Black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do the same when they...
Oh, yeah. Sure, man. Yeah, dude. Yeah, this is how all black people are. They all want to do vigilante justice against random white people. Stop saying he's not wrong. You're a fucking idiot. Okay? Yeah, no, go join this fucking very clear Fed operation. I don't know anything. This guy, let's not look into his background at all. Let's not assume that Hasan knows anything more about this person and what they represent and how their entire goal is to say these sorts of eye-catching things in an effort to sometimes fundraise, but most importantly, to play a role of the angry black man that conservatives will play on the fucking Facebook orbit nonstop, endlessly.
They attempt to oppress us.
Right.
I'm tired.
We're devastated.
How Hawk Newsome went from failed politician to rogue BLM boss. Hawk Newsome, the activist who threatened bloodshed after a sit-down with Mayor-elect Eric Adams earlier this week, is a rogue militant and failed politician who likes to wear a bulletproof vest and chew on a fast cigar as he strolls through his Bronx neighborhood. Newsome's incendiary statements and criticism of the national Black Lives Matter movement have earned him international headlines, but also made him a pariah among leaders of the civil rights cause. And the IRS yanked his group's charitable status for failing to file financial reports, the Post has learned. Oh, wow. That's crazy. On Wednesday, when Adams, a former New York PD captain, Eric Adams, vowed to bring back the force's controversial anti-crime unit, which was disbanded after widespread anti-police protests last year, Newsome, 44, threatened total anarchy. There will be riots, he said, outside the Borough Hall in Brooklyn after their closed-door discussions. There will be fire and there will be bloodshed. Now, did that happen? No, of course it didn't fucking happen. Why did he say this? Not because he's a fucking organizer, but because he has a failed charity that he's using to make it, to enrich himself. And his entire purpose is a singular one, okay? His entire goal is to go out and say these insightful things, okay? With the hopes that he gets coverage from these right-wing dish rags like the New York Post that will then present black people that are community organizers actually tasked with dealing with gun violence in their neighborhoods or police brutality in their neighborhoods as the same as him. Someone with no interest in real solutions and instead someone who is, inciting violence. Newsome followed up with the threats of the social media post on Thursday while waiting for a flight at JFK Airport. Mayor-elect Adams want to bring back the NYPD anti-crime unit that murdered Sean Bell, Amadou Diallo, and Eric Garner. Newsome said in the post with his 29,000 Instagram followers, referring to some New York City victims of police violence. We can't let that slide. You and I both know we are up against an evil and violent system. The imposing former paralegal for the Bronx DA, who stands more than 6'6" tall and weighs 250 pounds, now runs a political consulting company with his younger sister, Shavonna Newsome. In 2016, the two also founded New York Black Lives Matter, Inc., a charity which lists his address as a Bronx apartment. The nonprofit had its charitable status revoked 2 years ago after it failed to file financial reports to the IRS over 3 consecutive years, public records show. But the group continues to seek donations on its website, instructing visitors to donate through the one-time payments or monthly sums using PayPal or debit cards. The group sells sweatshirts with the BLM New York logo, and Donald Trump is a white supremacist, noting that buying them is the best way to support our organization. Newsome, whose birth name is Walter, has never been a member of the Black Lives Matter Global Network, the national arm of the movement, which has no time for his brand of self-style leadership. Also, the Black Lives Matter Global Network is not great either, but that's a totally separate point. Oh my God. Meanwhile, Newsome has rallied against the Global Network's leadership, blasting former co-founder Patrice Khan-Cullors. After the Post revealed in April she went on a real estate shopping spree, snagging 4 high-end homes in the U.S. for $3.2 million. If you go around calling yourself a socialist, you have to ask how much of our own personal money is going to charitable causes, he told the Post. It's literally 2 grifters, both using Black Lives Matter to benefit their own personal to benefit their own personal coffers. Okay? That's it. They're both grifters. Newsome, a high school dropout who has spoken openly about his battles with alcoholism, domestic abuse, and anger issues, managed to obtain his GED and attended Concordia College in Bronxville before completing his law degree in Touro College. He's the father of William, a teenager who lives with him, and has a 4-year-old daughter, Asada. We don't want white people coming in and raising our rents, he told the Post last year about the neighborhood near Yankee Stadium in South Bronx. You can't be a supporter of black people if you come gentrify the neighborhood. Stay the fuck out of our community. Newsome has worked as a community organizer in the Bronx and ran for a city council seat in the borough in 2013. He managed only 3% of the vote in the race, losing to Vanessa Gibson, the current city council member for West Bronx. His sister lost her own bid for the 15th congressional district in the 2020 primary. After Newsome's own loss of the polls, he changed his name to Hawk and began protesting against the police after the acquittal of George Zimmerman in the shooting death of Trayvon Martin in Florida in 2013. He said it was Garner's July 2014 death, which led the NYPD officer Daniel Pantaleo's expulsion from the force that compelled him to become a full-time activist. After his death, we marched. He wrote an opinion piece for USA Today in 2019. When a grand jury decided to not indict Officer Daniel Pantaleo, we marched. For the countless other black men and women who have died at the hands of police and have received no justice, mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, we have marched. We still march, and we still see no justice. Now, the question remains, is this a person who actually went through his own political journey and became radicalized because he saw that there was no solutions to police brutality? Or is this a person who set up a fake charity that was targeted by the IRS for being a fake charity and not a real 501c3 in an effort to fill his own personal coffers, and is routinely known to say, explosive, incendiary things with an effort to get this kind of media coverage that obviously right-wing newspapers are very excited to use to present all black activists as like violent people with no interest in real solutions whatsoever. That's it. His rhetoric has grown increasingly incendiary. If this country doesn't give us what we want, then we'll burn down the system and replace it, said Newsome in a Fox News interview last year. All right? And I could be speaking figuratively. I could be speaking literally. It's a matter of interpretation. Newsome, who has referred to the U.S. government as terrorists, managed to temporarily shut down the George Washington Bridge last year, rallying 100 demonstrators to protest police violence. Unless he's a Fed, there's a chance he saw himself as a genuine activist and justified the grifting behavior to himself. Yeah. He called himself a grassroots organizer, has rallied against vaccine mandates, which he has labeled racist. And notes on his website that his organization was the first group in New York City to endorse Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Do you guys now understand? Hey, do you now understand why my immediate reaction to that guy, knowing his background, knowing what he had done before, like this protest where he planned at a New York restaurant, claiming that vaccine mandates were racist? Do you understand why I immediately said, oh, I know who this person is. I know what he does. There are plenty of people who say radical things or represent a radical, dare I say, revolutionary politics that I actually appreciate, okay, and defend regularly. Then there are people who engage in reactionary and, dare I say, ridiculous statements. That's why he is so, he's so quick to say this stuff in front of fucking Fox News and mainstream media.